Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY projects, we'll be creating some fun and easy home decor items using the wood tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree, also known as the mini Jenga Bocks. Now these pieces would make perfect decorative accents in any space in your home. Now I've placed some of my favorite accessories on these pieces, but you can certainly customize these into your farmhouse, modern, or even boho style decor. And as always, all of the projects I create have complete supply lists in the description box, so you can easily use it to reference as you gather your supplies. Now I'm so very excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start I have to say hey, and welcome back to all of my fantastic subscribers and visitors to my channel. If you are a new visitor to my channel today, I hope you consider subscribing as well and stick around to enjoy all of the different crafts that I will share today. So now, let's just jump right into all of these projects. Now this is a lantern with frosted look panels. Now we'll need 1 pack of the Tumbling Tower Blocks from the Dollar Tree. We'll need some chopping mats from the Dollar Tree. And we'll also need some craft sticks from Lowe's for 98 cents. Now we're going to start with our blocks, and I've already pre-stained my blocks with my Jacobian stain by Minwax. I'm also going to be using my carpenter square to make sure everything is nice and even. Now the first thing we're going to do is make 16 sets of 3-piece sets of blocks, and I'm going to bond these together end to end using my SureBonder wood stick hot glue. You just want to make sure you flip them as you go and wipe off the hot glue. Now you're going to continue this until you have 16 complete sets. So now that all our sets are done, we can start assembling one of our panels. Lay out one of those 3-piece sets, and then we're going to take some single blocks and I'm going to place one on each end of that 3-piece set block set. Now once those 2 end pieces are in place, I'm going to place 2 more in the center, and I'm going to place them centered right on each one of those seams. Now once that is all assembled, we can grab another one of those 3-piece block sets and place it right on top. Just add a dot of hot glue on the top of each one of those 4 blocks, and then press the 3-piece set right on top of that. And this is the bottom portion of one of our panels. So now I'm going to take 2 more single blocks, and I'm going to place one on each end of that set. Now once those are in place, grab another one of those 3-piece block sets, and all we have to do is place that on top of that, and that will be the center panel of our panel. Now the final piece to our panel is the top piece, and we're just going to place another 4 pieces, just like we did along the bottom, on the top. Now once we glue these in place, just grab one of those 3-piece block sets to put that right on top, and that would make one of our complete panels. And now we're going to repeat this until we have 4 complete panels. So here is our 4 panels all done. So go ahead and set those to the side, and we are going to grab our chopping mats from the Dollar Tree. Now these come 2 in a pack, and we will be using both of them for this project. So go ahead and just grab one of those sheets now, and then we're going to lay that on top of a cutting mat. Now I'm going to take one of my panels and lay it out on the chopping mat, and I'm just going to trace out the shape. You can use a pencil or embossing tool, whatever you like, and I'm tracing the outside shape of one of the panels onto the mat. Now once it is traced on there, you can easily cut that shape out with a pair of scissors. So now that that piece is cut out, I'm going to lay it on top of my panel just to make sure it fits. Now I am going to go ahead and mark it a little bit smaller than the actual size, and I'm marking the halfway point in the center of each one of the blocks on each side to trim it off, and it's about 1/4 inch off each side. So I'm just going to take my ruler and my pencil, and I'm going to mark a 1/4 inch line where I marked before, and then I'm going to mark that as a cutting line all the way around my shape. And then cut that out with a pair of scissors. Now I'm doing a test fit, and the overlap is perfect because you want some of that wood to be exposed on the outer edge. So your piece will actually be cut to about 5 inches by 7 3/4 inches as a final cut. Now you're going to cut 3 more out of that to make a total of 4 out of your other mats. And here are all 4 of our pieces cut out and ready to go. So now what we're going to do is bond these to our panels. Now I'm going to bond them with the matte side facing down and the shiny side facing you. Now to bond these, I'm going to apply them in sections. First, applying that hot glue around the top section of the panel first, and then carefully placing that panel right on top and then pressing it to the top side. Now once that bonds, go ahead and lift it up and then apply some hot glue around the center area. Now applying it in sections like this just kind of makes it easier and ensures that everything will be nice and even. And then finally wrap it up by applying the hot glue to the bottom side and then press that mat into place. And here is one of our panels with the chopping mat attached. And then we want to repeat this for the other 3 pieces until all 4 have these frosted look panels inside. So now what we're going to do is bond our panels together. So lay them on their side with the shiny sides facing inward and start by applying some hot glue to the inner side along the wood, exposed wood on the edge, and place the other one right on top. Now you want to make sure those edges are lined up nice and even, and then rotate it around, and I'm going to apply another one of those panels on the opposite side the same way by just applying some hot glue along that edge of the wood and placing that panel right on top. And then finally, all you have to do is add that last panel on top. You know, you have to be careful when adding this last one just to make sure it's nice and even. I like to add that hot glue on there and then add my panel on. Once I place it on, I quickly want to rotate it around and apply some hot glue underneath that panel to the other side before it completely sets, so it'll have just the slightest little bit of lift so you can set that other side right into place. And so now all 4 of my sides of my lantern are nice and bonded. So we want to be able to close up the bottom, and I'm going to be using those Lowe's craft sticks to do this. Now I have 10 of them that I have here, so I'm going to go ahead and start with laying out 7 of them nice and even side by side. Now I'm going to use the remaining 3 of them to lay right across the top to bond them all together to make a flat square piece. Now all I'm going to do with that is apply some of that Sherbonder wood glue right on top of there and press 3 sticks right on top across those 7 sticks. And here's the piece all bonded together to make one solid piece. Now take your lantern and sit it right on top, and I'm just going to trace the outline with a pencil right on top so you know your shape you need to fit it right on the bottom. Now these are easy to cut with a pair of scissors, so for this straight end here, I'm just going to cut with a pair of scissors just to demonstrate how easy it is. Now if you don't want to use scissors, you certainly can use an X-Acto knife, and all you have to do is take your X-Acto knife and just score it a few times with your ruler, making sure you have a nice straight edge, and then if you bend them down and then bend them back up, they should snap right off. Now if you have any burrs, just go ahead and trim that off with a pair of scissors, and then repeat this for the remainder of the other 2 edges. So now that your piece will fit your bottom of your lantern, I'm just going to stain it to match the remainder of my lantern with my Jacobian stain by Minwax. I'm going to apply a layer on the top and the bottom of this piece, and I want to make sure I also get around those edges as well to make it all cohesive. And here's the piece all stained, and you just want to let it sit out to completely dry. So now that it is dry, we can bond it, and we're going to bond it with the good side facing inside the lantern. So to bond it, we're just going to apply a row of hot glue around the entire bottom side of our lantern, and then place our square piece right on top and press it firmly. And now your lantern is ready to decorate. Now here is my tabletop lantern on display, and I absolutely love it. Now I've placed 2 packs of the Dollar Tree fairy lights inside, and it gives it this nice warm and cozy glow. Now you can definitely use tap lights or battery operated candles as well. Let me know in the comments how you would choose to display this on the inside or outside of your home. Now this project is a 2-tier tray. We'll start with some Tumbling Tower Blocks from the Dollar Tree. We're going to need the lid of this small container from the Dollar Tree. We're also going to need an additional lid from a Dollar Tree project I had left over. Now, there are all kinds of container lids that you can use for this project, so just choose the ones that you love the most. So we're going to start with our lids and our tumbling blocks. We're just going to lay them all out and prepare them. We did stain these in advance with our Jacobian stain by Mimwax as well. So put those to the side, and we are going to work on painting the insides of our lids. Now before we paint them, remove any strings or tags that may be on the lids that you choose to use. Now I'm also going to be using this thick core from a roll of saran wrap. These are thicker than paper towel holders, so this will be perfect to support my tray. Now I'm going to measure out about 6.5 inches, and I'm going to make a mark because that's how long I want my support to be for my tray set. Now I am going to paint the inside of my lids with some black acrylic paint, and you want to paint 1 to 2 coats, making sure they dry all the way through between your coats. Now once that first lid is dry, repeat that for the second one. Now we're also going to paint the center support as well with the paint, a couple of coats, just making sure it's thoroughly coated, and you want it to completely dry. Now when those insides are dry, you're going to paint the outside of this smaller lid. This one will be the top, and it will be exposed. You just want to let them completely dry. So now that everything is dry, we can start working on our tray. Now the first thing we're going to do is trim down our support, and it is marked at 6.5 inches. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to trim this down with an X-Acto knife. Now you certainly can use a utility knife or a small saw, but I found that the X-Acto knife was very easy to cut through this piece. Now as you can see, it is fairly thick, so I'll have no problems having this support my project. Now once it's all trimmed down and you remove any burrs, what I'm going to do is just lightly sand the end of it just to make sure it's nice and completely flat for my project. Now once everything is all ready and sanded, we can start to assemble our tray. Now the first thing we're going to do is we are going to add our blocks around the circular lids that we had, and we're going to add them around the outside. Now I am using my Surebonder wood stick hot glue to adhere these blocks, and when you adhere a block, you definitely want to sit it back down on a flat surface just to make sure the bottom edge will be completely even, and it'll be even all the way around as you go. Now you're just going to add them side by side, snugly together until you complete all the way around your tray. So here is one of the round lids with all of the blocks applied. Now we're going to repeat the process for the smaller lid as well. And here is the smaller lid with everything applied. Now I do have an exposed wood area on my block, so I'm just going to touch it up with a little bit of my stain, and here it is. Everything is all stained and cohesive and ready to go. So now we can put our support in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that round piece in the middle, and I'm going to outline it with a pencil just to make sure I know where to place it when I apply my glue. Then I'm going to go around the bottom 2 or 3 times with my hot glue. Be generous here, don't be shy, and just add a generous amount so this will be nice and supported. Just place it right in the center, and you want to press it firmly so it has good attachment to the center. And then once that dries, go ahead and go around it with another bead of hot glue. I'm so extra when it comes to hot glue. I just really like my projects to be sturdy. Now for the top part, I'm just going to eyeball it and put a dot in the center, and this would kind of mark where the middle is, so I'll know where to place it when I add my hot glue. So just add hot glue to the top, again going around 2 or 3 times, and then press that right in the center of the bottom of the top portion of your tray, and this should adhere it into place. And there you go, our tray is now assembled. Now we do want to also follow up around the bottom of the top lid as well to add our hot glue into place. So now I love to finish off my project. So what I have is a piece of black foam sheet, and what I'm going to do is add hot glue around the bottom of the tray. I'm going around the outside and across the middle, press it onto that black foam sheet and make sure it's nice and secure. I just like adding that to the bottom, and it just covers up all of the lettering and things. It just looks nice and neat and professional. I'm just going to trim off the excess with that X-Acto knife, and I'll be finished with the bottom of the project. Now I do want to protect my painted surfaces, and I like to save this step for last. I'm just taking some matte Mod Podge and I'm going over all of my painted areas with a nice good coat of that matte Mod Podge, and this just seals everything in and makes it nice and neat. You also want to put it on the support and on the inside and bottom of the top container. Now you want to let this sit to completely dry. Now here it is about 95% dry, but when it's dry you can decorate it. And here you have it, a cute little 2-tier tray that you could display anywhere in your home. Now I've chosen to add a frosted wine glass with battery votives along with some sweet little white clover flowers that I picked up from Walmart for about 98 cents. And of course, I'm always a sucker for succulents, so I've also added a few from my collection as an alternative, and this way it looks so awesome, so rustic. I just love the way this tray turned out. Now there's so many ways that you could decorate this easy 2-tier tray. I just hope you guys give it a try. Now this is for a set of plant and candle holder stands. Now we're going to need some Tumbling Tower Blocks from the Dollar Tree. We'll need a couple of these wood cubes from the Dollar Tree. And a couple of circular or square containers of your choice. Now again, we're going to start off with our previously stained blocks that we have on hand and our carpenter square. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 of the blocks. Now when we lay these out, we want to lay them out in a T formation, and we want to have the blocks laying on their side. Again, taking my Shermander wood stick hot glue, I'm going to apply one of the blocks to each side of the middle tumbling tower block to form a T as shown here. Now you do want to make sure you wipe away any glue in the seams to have it a nice clean look. Now you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 4 of the T blocks. So now we're going to grab one of those little cubes, and this will be the center of our holder. So I'm going to be applying it to the end of the middle of that T. Go ahead and apply some of that wood stick hot glue in the middle and place the block. Now you want it flush across the top, but you see it will protrude down the bottom, and that's okay because you won't see that in the final project. And then we're going to add the other side by adding the glue, making sure that top remains flush. Now once those 2 are in place, we're just going to continue adding the other 2 on each side of the block, and we want to make sure that those remain flush as well and that they're bonded and nice and even. So here is our stand all assembled. So you see I do have some exposed areas of the wood, so I'm just going to go in and touch that up just with a little stain, and I'm just using a little Q-tip since it's a really small job. I also want to stain that cube in the middle as well. So here's one of my stands all completed and stained. Now at the bottom of the stand, we're going to go around that protruding part of the block again, just with another line of hot glue, just to make sure it stays nice and secure into place. So now what we're going to do, that we have our first stand, we're going to repeat this until we have a second stand. So here are our two stands ready to go, and all you have to do now is decorate them. Now I picked up these two little cute containers from the Dollar Tree. I just thought they were so adorable and they fit in these stands perfectly. Now these come with little lids. Now you can put the entire container in here with the lids, and I think that's adorable, or you can remove the lids or place something inside. Either way, it is up to you. Now what I did is I placed a couple of succulents inside of my containers for a simple sweet accent. Now it doesn't take much to dress up these little containers since they're already so beautiful. Now you can also display them as storage with their lids too. Now another fantastic way to display these is by using the square glass vases from the Dollar Tree. Now all I did with these is fill them with some white rocks and succulents, and I love the fresh and clean look. And these were super fun and easy. Now, if you love candles as much as I do, these little frosted candle holders from the Dollar Tree are the perfect fit for these holders. Now, all I did was add a battery votive candle, and they look awesome. Now, I would totally love these in my bath area. Now, these ivory and gold containers was such an amazing find at the Dollar Tree. I ended up pairing these with a few of their greenery bundles, and it really pulls this entire look together. Now there are so many ways to style these holders. I hope you all have fun with it. Now this project is a table or shelf decorative block tray. We're going to need our Tumbling Tower Blocks from the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start off with my pre-stained Tumbling Tower Blocks with my Jacobian stain. Now we're going to grab our carpenter square, and we're going to start working in 9 block sets. So I'm going to take 9 blocks, and I want to configure them into kind of an arch design as shown here. Now I'm going to use an extra block as a spacer, so each one will be spaced evenly in between them when they're attached. So I'm going to apply some hot glue to the side of one of the blocks and place it against the other, making sure it has that equal space of 1 block size right at the top. And then for the next one down, go ahead and put your spacer in, and then add another block right underneath that, and there you go, you have another block into place. Now you're going to continue this all the way down until you have 1 complete side as shown here. Now we're just going to repeat this for the other side until it looks all completed and joined together, and here is what 1 completed piece will look like. Now we're going to continue this until we have 4 completed sets. And here are all 4 sets ready to go. So now we're going to take 9 more blocks, and these are going to be joined together side by side, laying flat as shown here. Now all I'm going to do with these is add that hot glue right on the side and stick them together. Now when applying rows together flat like this, you definitely want to flip them as you add each block, and this will prevent it from curving or waving, and it keeps them absolutely straight. Now you're going to continue this all the way down until you have all 9 blocks bonded side by side, and you're going to complete 3 complete sets of 9. So here's all 3 sets of 9 all completed, so sit those to the side, and now we're going to grab 3 blocks and we're going to join those end to end. Now again, just apply that hot glue right on the end and stick those ends together, wiping away that hot glue as you go, and we're only going to need 2 sets of these. So now all of our pieces are ready and we can assemble our little designer tray. So we're going to start working on those flat 9 block pieces, and we're going to take one of those 3 block pieces and place it up on its side, and we're going to adhere it to the side of the 9 block piece. Now once that's in place, go ahead and take your second 9 block piece and apply it along the side of that one. And then grab another 3 block piece, sit it up on its side, and adhere it to that side. And then we can add our final 9-block piece to make our complete bottom of our tray. Now the protruding side will be the bottom of our tray. Now for a little extra security, I am going to add a bead of hot glue along the seams at the bottom just to make sure everything stays secure into place. So now we can add our arch pieces, and we're going to start on the short side. So this is how I'll be adding them. Add just a dot of hot glue on each one of the end pieces and place it, aligning it with the ends of the top of the tray piece as shown here. Now rotate it around, and we're going to add our second piece, and it's going to bump up to the other end. Add hot glue on the bottom and actually on the side. I almost forgot here. And then sit it right into place on the tray. Now we're going to repeat this all the way around the tray until all 4 pieces fit on each side, and the way that they're made, they will fit perfectly. Now here is our completed tray. I love, love, love this design. Now I noticed it did have a little slight wobble, so what I'm going to do to resolve that is add some of these little flat gems, and these were in a big bundle or big bag at the Dollar Tree. I just had them left over, so I'm just going to add one of the gems on the bottom of each side, and that will eliminate the little wobble I was having. So now I'm just going to go through, add my stain to the unfinished ends of all of my wood blocks. And now the top edges and the side edges are all finished, and this piece looks amazing. And that is all it takes to make this gorgeous piece. Now I did add some Dollar Tree greenery in a ceramic container, and it turned out perfect. Now I had so much fun making these projects today, and it's always hard for me to choose a favorite, so let me know what your favorite project was today in the comments below. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen, and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when the next DIY goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.